I am back from the dead after being sick all weekend. I want to give a big shout out to everybody that sent me some well wishes, whether it was in the comments section of Friday's video, and a big shout out to Harrison Graham for covering for me on Friday. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today we're going to be talking about the latest trade rumors surrounding the Washington Commanders. At the start of NFL Combine Week, we'll talk about Sam Howell, the latest trade rumors surrounding him, and a report of what the Commanders could get for him in a trade. And then also, we're going to be talking about Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in the National Football League, has been linked to the Washington Commanders as a potential trade target this offseason. So we'll talk about that today. And of course, today is the start of the NFL Scouting Combine for 2024. We got a whole crew of people out there in Indianapolis, and we're going to be giving you guys exclusive content from the Combine all week long. And we got some great stuff coming your way here over the next 2 days. I'm not going to lie, guys. We got, over the next 2 days, two major interviews, two of some of the biggest interviews we have ever done on the channel. Tomorrow, we will have new Commanders GM Adam Peters on for an interview, exclusive interview from the Combine tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we will have new head coach Dan Quinn on the show there in Indianapolis. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now for exclusive Combine content for your Washington Commanders all week long. We're going to let you guys know which players that they're interviewing. We're going to let you know. We're going to have in-depth scouting reports and all these different things, who risers, fallers, all these great things. And then we got those two huge interviews with the new GM and new head coach right here on the channel. It's all 100% free, so don't miss a moment this week. Click that subscribe button right now. So let's start with the latest trade rumors here, and let's go to Sam Howell, where multiple reports now are suggesting that the Washington Commanders are looking to potentially trade Sam Howell before the start of the 2024 season and give him a fresh start with another organization. I'll talk about whether or not I want to do this here in just a second, but first, for today's pinned comment, get down there in the comment section right now and give me a yes or a no to this question. Will Sam Howell be a Commander in 2024? Predict it for me down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or no. All right, so, the report is that Sam Howell could be worth a third-round pick. And honestly, guys, if the Commanders can get a third-round pick for the quarterback that led the league in interceptions last year, somebody that they're probably not even planning to have as a starter next year, I think that'd be an absolutely incredible price that if someone was willing to pay, I would absolutely be willing to trade Sam Howell away for. But I really don't think that Sam Howell is going to net that, okay? Because of the struggles that he had last year, especially towards the end of the season, I don't really see any of these teams that are looking for starting quarterbacks to be like, you know what, we're going to trade a day 2 pick for Sam Howell, and we're going to make him our starter. And really, if you're giving up a day 2 pick for a guy, I would have to think you're at least thinking about making him your starter. At least he's going to be in the competition to be your starter next year. And honestly, I see Sam Howell as more of a high-end backup at this point in his career, which is one of the reasons why I want the Commanders to keep him, all right? He was drafted in the 5th round, which means that he has an extremely affordable contract right now, and he showed last year that in a pinch, he could absolutely come in, and he's not afraid to throw the pill down the field, man. This guy's not afraid to step up in the pocket, throw deep shots, all these different things. And I do think that he'd be a good backup option for the Washington Commanders moving forward. And unless you can get at least a 4th-round pick in exchange for him, I'm probably not willing to part ways with him. I think that he's a really high-quality backup in this league. Right now, I think if something happened to Drake May or Jaden Daniels, whoever they take at number 2 overall, God forbid, Sam Howell's the type of guy that can come in and he can absolutely he can get you some football wins here during this season, all right? He has chemistry with the receivers already. It just makes sense, in my opinion, to keep Sam Howell in the building. Unless you get an offer, you just can't refuse. So now let's shift over to Nick Chubb here, where Heavy.com says the Commanders should consider trading for Nick Chubb this offseason. Of course, Chubb, one of the more prolific runners in the National Football League today. And this is the trade idea that they have for Nick Chubb here, where, of course, we would get him, and then we would send our 4th-round pick this year, number 103 overall, and then also a 5th-round pick in 2025. Now, coming up here, I'm going to let you know whether or not I would make this trade. But before I get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks. And football season may be over, but the action on the floor when it comes to basketball is just heating up. Whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. Get in on the excitement with Prize Picks today, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types is what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the United States of America. So you might be asking yourselves, Jack, how does this work? Well, here's how you play. Pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can even win up to 25 times your money on any entry. As you can see on your screen right now, I'm taking the less on Cade Cunningham points for tonight's game. I'm going to take the more on Jalen Brunson points. I know 31.5 is quite large, but I like the more on there. Brunson's had one hell of a season, and I'll take the less on RJ Barrett assists with the 3.5 there. So with Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get your picks in right now by downloading the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. Again, download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with our friends at Prize Picks. So personally, guys, when it comes to a Nick Chubb trade, I am not willing to do it, all right? Unless it's like for like a 7th-round pick or something like that, just to make sure that you get him. I'm not really interested in bringing Nick Chubb in here in Washington. I got a couple reasons for that, and I'll let you guys know those reasons here in just a second. But first, let's look at his numbers here, because I understand why some people would want to get Nick Chubb this offseason, because he's been super productive. All right, you look at these numbers throughout his career. Of course, last year in 2023, had that gruesome knee injury early in the season in that primetime game against the Steelers. But other than that, man, this guy's been bloody brilliant, almost 100 yards rushing per game. Just a bunch of touchdowns. This guy has been one of the most productive runners in the National Football League for quite a long time, ever since he was really drafted quite a while back. And, you know, the reason why I would say don't trade for Nick Chubb is because he's likely getting cut, all right? He's got that pretty big cap hit coming into the year. He's coming off of a major injury, his second knee injury of his career, and there's definitely question marks as to whether or not he is worth the contract that he's going to be slated to make in 2024 with the Cleveland Browns. And I just think the Browns are going to want to kind of cut bait with Nick and kind of start fresh and open up some of that cap space for 2024. And you know what's interesting here is that even if he's a free agent, I'm not sure if I would want Nick Chubb anyway. All right, Chubb is more of like single back formation, outside zone. Like, he is the perfect running back for the Cleveland Browns system that they run. All right, but Cliff Kingsbury and the offense he's going to be bringing here, it's going to be lots of shotgun. It's going to be lots of inside zone. It's going to be lots of counter. It's not going to be a lot of outside zone from under center, which is what Chubb is really used to and what he thrives in. So I'm not sure if it's a good fit, and especially when you take into account the fact that he's coming off of that gruesome knee injury that he took last year, one of the worst injuries we have ever seen in the National Football League. I really don't think he's worth a 4th and a 5th round pick in a trade, and honestly, I'm not sure if he's worth picking up in free agency, because when it comes to running backs right now, I think Washington is actually doing a pretty decent job. They got Brian Robinson Jr., they've got Chris Rodriguez Jr., who had a really strong end to his rookie campaign. And, you know, there's opportunities in the draft as well. I mean, that's what I'm looking at right now. I mean, this is going to be a pass-heavy offense with Cliff Kingsbury bringing in kind of like an air raid hybrid type system. You're going to be drafting a young quarterback that's going to be in shotgun a lot, right? So I really don't think you need like a super high-end, super expensive Nick Chubb type running back on this team. I'd rather use those resources to get guys on the offensive and defensive lines, to get guys in the secondary, all these different things that this team desperately needs to fill. And I think Brian Robinson Jr., Chris Rodriguez Jr., that's going to be a good running back duo for you in this system. And then if you need to draft another guy, just go get one in the draft, right? Just go get another young running back, reset that clock, add a third guy to the lineup here, and then see what you can do with the run game with B-Rob, Chris Rodriguez Jr., and then whoever you bring in via the draft. But when it comes to Nick Chubb, I'm not sure if it's a great idea, even though he's a big name. Now, let me know down there in the comments section, would you sign Nick Chubb this offseason if you had the opportunity? Type S if you want to sign him, or type P if you're going to pass. That'll be it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. Again, make sure you guys click that subscribe button because tomorrow we're going to be interviewing Adam Peters on the channel, new GM of the Washington Commanders. And then Wednesday, we got the brand new head coach of this football team, Dan Quinn, on the show. You guys are not going to want to miss this content we got coming your way. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now.